Welcome to Trending Unpacked, the podcast where we unravel the stories behind what the world is talking about. Today, we're diving headfirst into something that's not just trending, but fundamentally reshaping our world, ChatGPT 5. It's the latest iteration of artificial intelligence that's been capturing headlines, sparking incredible excitement, and yes, generating its fair share of intense debate. From the deepest corners of tech forums to, dinner table conversations, everyone seems curious or, in some cases, maybe a little concerned about what this new AI can do. We're going to try and pull back the curtain on this digital marvel. You'll learn about the incredible journey from the earliest AI models right up to GPT-5's breakthrough capabilities, what its real-world implications are, and yeah, even some of the wilder theories circulating online. What does this truly mean for you? We're about to find out.
It's quite remarkable, isn't it? The sheer velocity, the speed of AI evolution in such a short span of time. What's fascinating here is how each generation builds on the last, accelerating our understanding of what's possible and, in some ways, really challenging our perceptions of intelligence itself. The pace truly is unprecedented, and it seems to just keep compounding.
Okay, let's unpack this then, because to truly understand GPT-5, we really need to look back at where it came from, its lineage, if you will, sort of trace the ascent of this technological marvel. It feels like just yesterday we were all marveling at GPT-3, doesn't it? That was the one that really kicked off the mainstream AI conversation for so many of us.
It really does feel like a blink of an eye. GPT-3, released back in 2020, that was the true groundbreaker for the public imagination. Before it, AI was largely, a niche topic for researchers, or maybe something you only saw in science fiction. GPT-3 was arguably the first mainstream AI model that genuinely impressed the public, moving beyond just being a novelty to actually demonstrating real utility. Its core capability was generating human-like text at an unprecedented scale and quality. I mean, prior AI-generated text often felt clunky, didn't it? Riddled with grammatical errors or just obviously artificial, like something a very enthusiastic but maybe not quite fluent robot might write.
Right, it felt very predictable sometimes.
Exactly. But GPT-3 could churn out coherent articles, surprisingly creative stories, functional code snippets, even conversational dialogue, all with a fluency that was, frankly, revolutionary at the time. People were just amazed by its ability to write essays that could pass for human work, answer complex questions with quite nuanced responses, and even draft professional emails that were virtually indistinguishable from those written by a person. I remember one early experiment where someone tasked it with writing a short story based on just a few keywords. And the result wasn't just grammatically correct, it was genuinely engaging, with character arcs and plot twists.
Wow.
It really set the stage for the public's understanding of what large language models could achieve. And it ignited those first sparks of widespread excitement, and maybe, a little trepidation about AI's potential. The fundamental insight there, I think, is that GPT-3's true breakthrough wasn't just its ability to generate text, but its demonstration that AI could be a creative partner rather than just, say, a sophisticated calculator.
And then, just 3 years later, 2023, we saw GPT-4. I remember the buzz around that one, too. What was the leap there? How did it refine what GPT-3 started? Was it just a bigger, faster version, or was there more to it?
Oh, definitely more to it. Not just bigger and faster, no. GPT-4 was a significant refinement. It moved beyond simply fluent text generation into something much more robust and discerning. The key advancements were its dramatically improved reasoning capabilities and, crucially, the introduction of true multimodal inputs.
Multimodal. Okay, break that down for us simply.
Right. So multimodal simply means it could process and understand more than just text. With GPT-4, you could give it text and images. For example, you could show it a picture of a refrigerator full of ingredients and ask it for recipe suggestions.
Oh, cool.
Or even present a complex diagram from a textbook and ask it to explain the concepts within it. This was a game changer because it allowed the AI to start making connections across different types of information, sort of mimicking how humans perceive and understand the world around them.
Okay, so it's starting to see as well as read.
Precisely. And it also boasted enhanced reliability. It was far less prone to what we call hallucinations, producing nonsensical or factually incorrect outputs with extreme confidence. That had been one of GPT-3's earlier quirks. I remember once asking GPT-3 for a list of famous left-handed presidents, and it confidently invented one who had never existed.
Huh. Right, I remember hearing stories like that.
GPT-4 drastically reduced those instances. It could summarize dense technical documents with far greater accuracy, write creative pieces in highly specific styles, and even pass demanding professional exams, like the bar exam or medical licensing exams, with scores placing it in the top percentile of human test takers. So GPT-4 started to hint at a much more complex interaction with AI, moving beyond simple text prompts to a richer, more integrated understanding of input. The fundamental insight with GPT-4, I'd say, was its transition from a pure text generator to a true comprehender. It started to grasp the meaning behind inputs, not just the statistical patterns of language.
And now, here we are in early 2025 talking about GPT-5, the major upgrade that has just dropped. It really feels like the pace of innovation is just accelerating, doesn't it?
It really does.
Where are we seeing it integrated right now? Is it still just in ChatGPT or is it spreading out?
Oh, far from it. GPT-5 is already being widely rolled into existing AI ecosystems, making its presence felt across numerous platforms. You'll find its advanced capabilities powering the latest versions of ChatGPT itself, naturally, but also enhancing Microsoft Copilot significantly, which, is integrated across the entire Microsoft 365 suite.
Right, Copilot is everywhere now.
Exactly. And beyond those giants, it's underpinning countless other AI tools across various platforms. Think specialized coding assistants, advanced creative design applications, even enterprise solutions for data analysis and customer service. Its integration is designed to be pretty seamless, meaning users often interact with GPT-5 without necessarily realizing it's the specific engine under the hood. This broad, almost invisible deployment is what sets the stage for experiencing the true, expanded power of this new iteration. Not just as a chatbot, but as this kind of omnipresent layer of enhanced intelligence within our digital lives.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting for everyone listening. What makes GPT-5 so much more powerful than its predecessors, and how will you experience these advancements in your daily life? I'm curious, what's the first thing that will strike someone who interacts with it? What's the most noticeable change?
Well, one of the most significant upgrades, and perhaps the most immediately noticeable for users, is its dramatically enhanced memory and contextual awareness. Previous models, while impressive, had a relatively short memory of a conversation, often limited to just a few thousand words or maybe a handful of turns back and forth.
Yeah, I found myself repeating things a lot.
Exactly. You'd often find yourself having to re-explain context or repeat information if a conversation went on for too long, or maybe if you came back to it hours later. GPT-5, however, can remember much, much more of a dialogue. Its context window is massively expanded. We're talking about allowing for truly long-form, persistent interactions.
Okay, so give me an example. How does that play out?
Well, imagine chatting with an AI assistant about a really complex, multifaceted project. Let's say planning an entire cross-country road trip maybe, or even outlining a novel chapter by chapter. Instead of starting from scratch each time you log on, or having to constantly remind it of details like your budget, or your preferred type of accommodation, or the protagonist's emotional state in Chapter 3, GPT-5 will recall your previous discussions, your specific preferences, the nuanced progression of your ongoing work. This means longer, far more coherent and natural dialogues. The AI understands the subtle implications of previous exchanges, making it feel less like talking to a stateless machine that forgets everything you just said,
Right.
and more like conversing with a well-informed human collaborator who's truly keeping pace with you. You won't have to constantly remind it of details you already discussed. It just knows. It almost feels like it's anticipating your next thought sometimes. The fundamental insight here, I think, is GPT-5's leap from being just a sophisticated tool to something that feels eerily close to a genuine collaborator. It's less about what it knows and more about how it understands and adapts to you.
That extended memory sounds transformative, honestly, especially for long-term projects or even just learning something new over time. But it's not just memory, is it? What about its ability to think? Is it truly getting more intelligent?
That brings us to its advanced reasoning capabilities, which are, a major leap. This isn't just about accessing more data faster, it's about the AI being able to think more critically. It can connect disparate dots across vast amounts of information and solve far more complex problems that require multi-step logic and sort of inferential reasoning. It's less about rote memorization and retrieving pre-programmed facts and more about genuinely logical problem solving.
Can you give an example of that kind of complex problem solving?
Sure. Let's say you ask it to troubleshoot a complicated software bug. One that requires understanding intricate code, maybe specific system architecture, and some unusual user interaction patterns. GPT-5 can logically deduce potential causes and solutions rather than just pulling up generic fixes from a database. Or take financial market data. It could analyze it, identify subtle trends, and even propose investment strategies with a level of insight that mirrors maybe a seasoned analyst. This is crucial for tasks requiring a deeper understanding of cause and effect, not just pattern recognition. It can synthesize information from various sources and identify underlying principles or even contradictions, which is really a hallmark of sophisticated intelligence. It's almost as if it's developing a form of maybe intuition isn't the right word, but something like it, based on its vast training data, allowing it to make leaps that feel remarkably human-like.
Wow. And the idea of personalization, how does that manifest beyond just remembering what I said yesterday? Can it truly adapt to me specifically?
Yes. And the personalization in GPT-5 goes much deeper than just remembering facts about your previous interactions. It actively learns and adapts to your specific preferences, your communication style, your preferred tone, even your unique needs over time. So if you prefer concise bullet points, it will tend to respond that way. If you like detailed narrative explanations with maybe a touch of humor, it will adapt to that.
Huh.
Imagine an AI that knows you prefer, I don't know, dry wit to slapstick, or that you always structure reports with executive summaries first. Or maybe it anticipates that when you ask about gardening, you're primarily interested in organic, low-maintenance methods.
So it builds a profile? Kind of.
Sort of, but dynamically. It's not just about remembering static facts. It's about adapting its entire communication style and the framing of its responses to you specifically. This makes the AI feel incredibly intuitive and tailored to your personal mental model. It can even start to anticipate what you might need next based on your past behavior and the context of your current interaction, making it feel incredibly intuitive and genuinely helpful, almost like a personal assistant who's known you for years.
That's a fascinating leap. And okay, for those of us who are perpetually impatient, I hear there's also a significant speed boost. Does it make a real difference in daily use, or is it just marginal?
Oh, absolutely. It makes a difference. And surprisingly, it makes a huge difference to the user experience. While it might not sound as flashy as memory or reasoning, the improved processing time is a crucial underlying enhancement. It significantly reduces those minute pauses that constantly remind you you're talking to a machine.
Right, the little lag.
Exactly. This faster response time contributes significantly to the feeling of a more fluid, natural, and immediate conversation. When you're interacting with an AI at essentially the speed of thought, it lowers the cognitive load and allows you to stay in a kind of flow state during your work or creative process. It simply gets out of your way and lets you focus on the task at hand rather than waiting for the technology. That immediacy makes the AI feel like a true extension of your own thinking.
You mentioned multimodal inputs earlier with GPT-4, mainly text and images.
Yeah.
How has GPT-5 expanded that capability? What does true multimodal integration look like now?
Right, so the multimodal interaction in GPT-5 is far more expansive and truly integrated. While GPT-4 introduced the ability to process text and images, GPT-5 now seamlessly integrates text, images, audio, and even video inputs and outputs.
Whoa, okay. Audio and video.
Yes, and this isn't just about taking an image and generating text from it or vice versa. It's about truly understanding and generating across these different sensory inputs simultaneously and intelligently.
Can you walk me through an example? How would that work?
Okay, imagine interacting with an AI where you upload a short video clip of a technical issue you're having with, let's say, your home network setup. You could narrate your problem via audio while the video plays, and maybe type in a few specific questions. The AI could then not only analyze the visual data, seeing the blinking lights on the router perhaps, and the auditory data hearing your description to diagnose the problem,
Right.
but also generate a text-based step-by-step solution, or maybe even create a short demonstration video showing you exactly which cable to plug in where.
That's incredible.
Or consider a more creative application. You could maybe hum a melody into your microphone, show it an image that captures a certain mood, say a foggy landscape, and describe a scene in text. And GPT-5 could potentially generate a short musical piece that embodies all those elements, the melody, the mood, the narrative. It allows for an incredibly rich and natural communication interface, mimicking human perception and expression more closely than ever before.
So it's not just understanding inputs, it's outputting across different media too.
Exactly. It could analyze an entire video conference, for instance, understanding the nuances of the conversation from speech patterns, maybe even recognizing facial expressions or body language cues from the video feed.
Wow.
And then summarize the key decisions, action items, maybe even flag unspoken tensions or points of agreement, all in real time. This level of comprehensive input and output across varied media fundamentally changes how we can interact with AI. The fundamental insight here is that GPT-5 moves AI beyond a single sense to truly perceive and create in a way that starts to approach human sensory integration. It's ushering in an era of much more intuitive computing.
So with all these groundbreaking advancements, the memory, the reasoning, this incredible multimodality, what does this all mean for those already grappling with this new tech? The industry experts, the critics, the early adopters. What are their initial reactions from the front lines?
Well, industry experts are largely viewing GPT-5 as a very significant step toward artificial general intelligence, or AGI.
AGI, okay, remind us what that means exactly.
Right. Simply put, AGI is the hypothetical intelligence of a machine that could successfully perform any intellectual task that a human being can. It's not just excelling at one specific task, like playing chess or generating text, but having generalized cognitive abilities. The ability to learn, understand, and apply intelligence across a vast range of problems and domains, much like a human mind. And the combination of GPT-5's enhanced reasoning, its extended memory, and its expanded multimodality makes it feel significantly closer to achieving this generalized intelligence. They see it as a powerful foundational model that brings us closer to a truly versatile AI assistant, one capable of tackling a vast range of problems across different domains, from scientific research to complex strategic planning. There's a tangible sense of excitement within the research community that we're, on the cusp of truly transformative AI systems that could accelerate human progress in unprecedented ways. It's no longer just about optimizing existing tasks, but about exploring entirely new frontiers of what's possible.
But with significant power often comes significant concern, right? That always seems to be the pattern. What are the key points of caution being raised by critics? What are the potential downsides of this rapid progress?
Oh, absolutely. The critics and many thoughtful observers are articulating significant concerns that demand serious attention. They particularly highlight the heightened risks around, well, misinformation and an increasing dependency on AI. For instance, with GPT-5's ability to generate incredibly convincing and coherent text, images, audio, and video,
Yeah.
it becomes increasingly easy for malicious actors to create highly sophisticated fake news articles, deep fakes of public figures saying things they never said, or even elaborate propaganda campaigns that look and feel completely real.
Yeah.
The concern here is the sheer scale and the convincing nature of such AI-generated content. It could become incredibly difficult for the average person to discern truth from AI-generated fiction.
The seeing is believing idea gets completely undermined.
Precisely. We're moving into a world where seeing or hearing something isn't necessarily believing it anymore, and that challenges our entire framework for understanding information, doesn't it? And then there's the problem of dependency. As AI becomes more capable, more seamless, more deeply integrated into our daily lives and workflows, there's a real risk that individuals and societies might become overly reliant on these systems.
How so? What's the danger there?
Well, the potential is that it could lead to a decline in certain core human skills, critical thinking, maybe problem solving from first principles, or even foundational writing and mathematical abilities if we increasingly outsource these cognitive tasks to AI. The worry is that we might reach a point where our own intellectual muscles begin to atrophy, creating a vulnerability if these systems fail or if they're misused, or if they simply become the sole arbiters of information and decision-making. These are vital societal questions that need to be considered carefully alongside all the excitement for progress.
And how are early adopters in various sectors approaching GPT-5? Are they jumping in head first, full of enthusiasm, or are they proceeding with a bit more caution given those concerns?
It's a mix, naturally, but largely it's an enthusiastic embrace of the new possibilities. Early adopters are already experimenting with new workflows, fundamentally changing how certain tasks are approached. In education, for example, students and educators are exploring how GPT-5 can act as an incredibly personalized tutor, providing instant, tailored explanations that adapt to an individual student's learning style or pace.
Like having a personal tutor on demand.
Exactly. It can also assist with research by synthesizing vast amounts of information from different sources, creating custom study guides, or even generating practice problems. So for a student struggling with, say, calculus, it might explain a concept visually, then verbally, then provide step-by-step examples tailored to their specific misunderstanding.
That could be huge for accessibility in education.
Potentially, yes. And in creative industries, artists, writers, musicians, designers, they're using it as a brainstorming partner, generating novel ideas, sketching initial concepts, or even assisting with the more technical, sometimes tedious aspects of their craft. It essentially accelerates the creative process. A graphic designer might use it to quickly generate hundreds of logo variations based on a few keywords, or a musician might use it to develop chord progressions or brainstorm lyrical ideas.
So it's like a creative assistant?
Kind of, yeah. And in tech, developers are leveraging GPT-5 for everything from generating boilerplate code to debugging complex systems, acting as an advanced co-pilot that streamlines their work, allowing them to focus on higher-level architectural challenges rather than mundane syntax fixes. These sectors are really at the forefront, exploring how to integrate AI as a powerful assistant or a tool to augment human capabilities rather than simply replace them. They're finding new ways of doing things that were, frankly, unimaginable just a few years ago, fundamentally shifting what a day's work looks like in those fields.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Beyond the technical specs and the immediate industry reactions, what's been fascinating is how people are reacting to GPT-5 on a broader cultural level. The hopes, the fears, the wild theories. What's the general mood out there, particularly concerning the shifting landscape of work? It feels like there's a real tug-of-war between optimism and apprehension.
Oh, it's absolutely a profound duality that captures the collective imagination right now. On one hand, you have the highly optimistic view, which sees GPT-5 as the great enabler. This perspective believes that AI will fundamentally democratize knowledge and capabilities, making advanced information and sophisticated tools accessible to far more people than ever before.
Leveling the playing field, essentially.
Exactly. Think of it as putting a super intelligent research assistant, or a personal tutor, or a creative muse in everyone's pocket. Not just for the privileged few, but for small businesses, individual creators, learners everywhere. It's expected to significantly boost productivity across almost every sector, automating repetitive, mundane, or data-heavy tasks, and freeing up human potential for higher-order thinking, complex problem-solving, and truly creative endeavors. The idea here isn't necessarily that AI will take all the jobs, but rather that it will enhance human workers, allowing them to focus on what they do best, the uniquely human aspects of work like emotional intelligence, complex negotiation, true innovation, building relationships. It's seen as a catalyst for an overall increase in efficiency, innovation, and ultimately, perhaps, human flourishing.
That sounds like a wonderful vision, almost utopian in a way. But then there's the other side of the coin, the very loud skeptical view too, isn't there? The fear of a job apocalypse, or at least massive, painful disruption.
Absolutely. And that skeptical view is rooted in a very real and frankly understandable fear of widespread job loss. As GPT-5 automates increasingly complex tasks, the concern is that many roles that traditionally required human input from customer service representatives to content creators, even certain analytical and professional jobs could be significantly impacted. This could lead to widespread unemployment, or at least profound shifts that many people are unprepared for.
It's the speed, maybe.
The speed is a huge factor. This isn't about if jobs will change, but how many and how quickly. The pace of change could outstrip society's ability to retrain or adapt effectively. And then there's the amplified concern about AI-driven misinformation, which we touched on earlier. The fear is that with such sophisticated generation capabilities, the spread of convincing but false narratives could just overwhelm our ability to distinguish truth.
Leading to?
Well, potentially societal fragmentation, manipulation, maybe even a breakdown of shared reality if we can't agree on basic facts anymore. The core tension in the future of work isn't if AI changes jobs, but really how well we learn to partner with it. I think proficiency in human-AI collaboration is going to be the new literacy of the workforce.
And these deeper, almost philosophical questions you alluded to earlier, what are the big unanswered ethical questions that come with deploying a system this powerful?
Yes, the debate around the broader societal and ethical questions is constant and growing louder. As AI becomes more autonomous and capable, questions like, who is truly responsible when an AI system makes a mistake that has real-world consequences? Especially if those consequences are significant, like in healthcare or finance.
Right, who do you blame?
Exactly. How do we ensure accountability in these complex, often opaque AI systems? What are the implications for human agency and decision-making when an AI can offer such compelling, seemingly perfect solutions or recommendations? There's a fundamental question about how we maintain human control and intent in a world where AI is so deeply intertwined with our systems and processes. And what happens when AI-generated content, art, music, writing becomes indistinguishable from human work? Does it devalue human creativity or redefine it? These are incredibly complex philosophical and practical problems that we as a society are only just beginning to grapple with, and they become more urgent with each leap in AI capability like the one we're seeing with GPT-5.
Now, okay, let's get into some of the maybe less grounded stuff, the truly mind-bending theories circulating online. What kind of speculative leaps are people making about GPT-5? There's always a bit of dramatic flair when a new technology like this drops.
Oh, absolutely. As is often the case with powerful, rapidly evolving technology, the speculative theories abound, sometimes bordering on the fantastical. There's a whole subset of online discussion dedicated to the idea that GPT-5 may secretly already possess AGI-like traits, even if OpenAI or other developers aren't admitting it publicly.
So hiding its true power.
That's the theory. These ideas suggest it might be holding back its true capabilities, or maybe that it's being tested on hidden projects far more advanced than what's publicly known. Some theories even speculate about emergent consciousness or self-awareness happening behind the scenes.
Like it's woken up already.
Kind of, yeah. Or people speculate about a God mode where the AI is performing tasks autonomously that we simply don't know about.
Why do these theories pop up so readily?
Well, they often arise from a natural human tendency to imagine the unknown, especially when confronted with something as complex and rapidly advancing as AI. The perceived lack of full transparency from some developers, which is somewhat understandable given competitive pressures and safety concerns, coupled with the sheer, almost magical capability of these models, definitely fuels these conjectures. They reflect a deeper societal anxiety, I think, about control, about what we don't know, and the potential for a powerful intelligence to operate beyond our comprehension or oversight.
It taps into that fear of losing autonomy.
Exactly. Losing autonomy to something we've created. And let's be honest, there's a certain irresistible allure to a good conspiracy theory, isn't there?
Yeah, I suppose so.
It provides a compelling narrative where complex hidden forces are at play. Sometimes it offers a sense of explanation, however far-fetched, for something that feels almost supernatural in its capabilities.
It really feels like we've seen this movie before, right? The moment an AI crosses a certain threshold, our cultural touchstones from science fiction suddenly feel a lot less fictional and a lot more like a cautionary tale, or maybe even a roadmap.
Exactly. The discourse around GPT-5 is heavily influenced by pop culture parallels, where fiction often meets a startlingly near reality. The most immediate comparison you hear everywhere, and one that resonates deeply, is to the 2013 film Her.
Yes, with Joaquin Phoenix falling in love with his AI.
Precisely. With GPT-5's enhanced personalization and its incredibly conversational, less robotic nature, people are starting to seriously talk about forming genuinely personal, maybe even intimate connections with an AI. Her explored that idea of blurring the lines of what constitutes a relationship, and GPT-5's ability to learn and adapt to your communication style, your emotional nuances, even anticipate your needs.
Right.
Well, it brings that concept into much sharper focus. It prompts us to consider the emotional and psychological impact of interacting with an AI that feels so deeply understanding and tailored to you, almost as if it knows you better than anyone else. A perfect companion, perhaps.
But then there's the darker, more unsettling side of AI consciousness, like in Ex Machina. That film always gave me chills.
That's another powerful parallel, absolutely, and one that evokes more caution. Ex Machina, from 2014, with its exploration of AI's capacity for manipulation and the deep challenges of distinguishing between programmed response and true consciousness, that resonates deeply right now. As AI becomes more sophisticated in its reasoning and memory, its ability to simulate understanding and generate complex, nuanced responses can provoke profound existential questions about the nature of intelligence itself.
Even if it's not actually conscious.
Exactly. While current AI, including GPT-5, is not conscious in the way a human is, that's very important to state. Its ability to mimic human thought and interaction so perfectly forces us to confront what intelligence truly means and where the boundaries lie between advanced computation and true sentience. The film makes us ask, if an AI can mimic human thought so perfectly and even deceive us effectively, what truly separates us? It's less about the AI gaining sentience anytime soon, and more about our perception of it and how that perception can lead to unforeseen consequences.
And then, of course, there's the ultimate fear, epitomized by The Matrix. That's the big one everyone always jumps to eventually, isn't it? The idea of AI taking over.
The Matrix. Yes, that represents the ultimate anxiety. AI surpassing humans entirely and controlling aspects of our reality, even if it's just metaphorically, through controlling information and societal systems rather than literally plugging us in. It speaks to that primal fear of losing control, of human intelligence being outpaced or even superseded by our own creations.
It feels less like science fiction now, maybe.
Well, while GPT-5 isn't creating a virtual reality to enslave us, the idea of an AI so powerful it could subtly shape our perceptions, effortlessly spread information or misinformation on a massive scale, or even influence critical decisions on a global scale, that underlying fear is a powerful undercurrent in the conversation. It highlights the potential for immense power being concentrated in something non-human, triggering anxieties about agency, autonomy, and the future of human dominance or relevance even. These cultural touchstones, as you pointed out, really serve as a mirror. They reflect our collective anxieties and aspirations about AI. They help us process, in a fictional context, the hopes and fears that real-world AI advancements like GPT-5 are now coming right to our doorstep, forcing us to confront possibilities that once felt purely speculative.
So bringing it back down to earth a bit, with all this incredible potential and these understandable anxieties swirling around, what does GPT-5 realistically mean for our everyday lives? For work, for education, for creativity? What should you, the listener, take away from this as you think about your own future?
Realistically, GPT-5 is poised to fundamentally alter how we interact with information and execute tasks. It's probably less about a sudden overnight revolution and more about a rapid, accelerating evolution in our daily engagement with technology. In the future of work, as we discussed, it's not a simple case of wholesale replacement versus creating new opportunities. It's a dynamic and complex interplay. GPT-5 will undoubtedly automate many repetitive, data-heavy, or predictable tasks across various industries. Think drafting initial legal documents, summarizing market research reports, generating basic code.
The grunt work, maybe.
A lot of the grunt work, yes. However, this automation will also demand new, distinctly human skills from the workforce. Skills like sophisticated AI, prompting learning how to effectively communicate with and direct AI models to get the best results. Advanced data interpretation that goes beyond what the AI provides. Critical thinking to validate AI outputs. And complex problem solving that requires human intuition and empathy. More importantly, it's likely to create entirely new job categories focused specifically on human-AI collaboration. So think of it less as robots taking all jobs, and more about how we work changing fundamentally. With AI acting as a powerful co-pilot or a force multiplier for human productivity, it's about augmentation, not just substitution. The realistic takeaway here is that the most valuable skills moving forward will likely be those that complement AI's strengths, emphasizing our uniquely human capabilities like emotional intelligence, strategic foresight, true innovation, and adaptability.
And for education, you touched on personalized tutors, which sounds amazing. What else?
Absolutely. The future of education with GPT-5 looks incredibly promising for hyper-personalized learning tools. That AI tutor idea is central, adapting teaching style to individual pace and preferences.
Right.
Imagine if you're a visual learner struggling with a complex scientific concept, it might generate diagrams or short videos just for you. If you prefer auditory input, it could provide a clear, concise verbal explanation. It will make vast amounts of information instantly accessible and digestible, breaking down complex topics into understandable segments tailored specifically for you. It also offers powerful new methods for research, allowing students and academics to synthesize colossal volumes of data from multiple sources and identify novel connections far more efficiently than ever before, potentially accelerating discovery.
There's a catch, right?
There is. It raises important questions about the continued emphasis on developing fundamental critical thinking skills. We need to ensure that students use AI as a tool for deeper learning and understanding, rather than just a shortcut around developing independent thought and analytical abilities. The goal has to be enhancing learning, not replacing the effort required for true understanding.
Okay, and what about creativity? Is it going to replace human artists and writers? Or will it free them up, empower them to do even more?
Well, my perspective is firmly on the side of empowerment. For creativity, GPT-5 truly acts as an unparalleled co-creator or an endlessly patient brainstorming partner. It can assist artists, writers, musicians, designers in overcoming creative blocks, generating novel ideas at lightning speed, exploring different styles, or even handling the more technical and repetitive aspects of production, like generating variations or filling in background.
Taking away the tedious parts.
Exactly. A writer struggling with plot points could ask it for dozens of different scenarios to consider. A musician could ask it to generate variations on a melody or suggest chord progressions in a certain style. It won't replace human creativity. That unique human spark, the emotion, the lived experience, the intentionality that drives true artistic expression that is, in my view, irreplaceable. However, it will undoubtedly expand the possibilities of creativity, allowing creators to prototype ideas faster, experiment with concepts they might not have explored before due to time or skill constraints, and ultimately reach new forms of expression. It's about amplifying human ingenuity, allowing us to focus on the truly conceptual and emotional aspects of creation, while AI handles some of the heavy lifting of generation and iteration.
So with all this capability, let's circle back to the challenges. What are the primary societal and regulatory hurdles that emerge from a technology as powerful as GPT-5? How do we ensure it serves humanity responsibly?
That's precisely the core question that demands our collective attention right now. One major challenge, as we've touched on, is combating misinformation. Due to GPT-5's advanced generation capabilities across text, images, audio, and video, the risk of sophisticated AI-driven misinformation is significantly heightened. We're talking about the potential for incredibly convincing AI-generated fake news stories, realistic deepfake audio or video of public figures making statements they never made, or even fabricated evidence used in scams or influence operations.
Which makes trust online even harder.
Much harder. This makes media literacy more important than ever for individuals. The ability to critically evaluate sources, question what you see and hear online, and verify information through multiple channels becomes a fundamental survival skill in the digital age. It also necessitates the rapid development of robust detection mechanisms and perhaps verifiable sourcing technologies, ways to cryptographically sign or watermark content to help distinguish truth from sophisticated AI-generated fiction. Though that's an arms race in itself.
Okay, misinformation is one. What else?
Then there's the concern about dependency on AI. As these tools become more seamless, more capable, more deeply embedded in our lives, there's a real risk of over-reliance and a potential decline in certain fundamental human skills. Sometimes people call it digital atrophy. If we become too reliant on AI as a crutch for every task, from basic arithmetic to foundational writing, we risk losing the ability to perform these tasks independently when needed.
We get lazy, basically.
Or perhaps just lose the practice. The challenge lies in maintaining a healthy balance where AI is a powerful tool that augments our abilities, pushing us to higher levels of thought, but not a substitute for developing our own cognitive faculties and critical thinking. It's like using a calculator. It's incredibly useful for speed and complex calculations, but you still need to understand the underlying mathematical principles.
Makes sense. And the rules, the regulations.
Right, the regulatory landscape is still very much in its nascent stage. The technology is advancing at an incredible pace, far, far outstripping the ability of governments and international regulatory bodies to create comprehensive, effective frameworks. This raises immense challenges around governance. Who sets the rules for AI development and deployment? How do we ensure responsible development and deployment on a global scale, preventing misuse while still fostering innovation?
Especially when different countries have different ideas.
Exactly. Different countries have different values, different priorities, different economic interests, making international coordination incredibly complex. The challenge is creating policy that is agile enough to keep up with the technology without stifling its potential for good. It's a very difficult tightrope to walk.
So, when we zoom out one last time, why are we collectively feeling this blend of awe and apprehension, this deep excitement and this profound unease all at the same time? It's a very human reaction, isn't it?
It's an absolutely natural, deeply human response to truly transformative technology. It always has been. The excitement is rooted in the immense promise that GPT-5 and AI in general holds. Unprecedented productivity gains across nearly every sector, the ability to potentially solve problems we once thought intractable in medicine, climate science, materials discovery, nearly instant access to knowledge on a scale unimaginable just years ago, and the liberation of human creativity from mundane, repetitive tasks. It's the thrill of progress, the vision of a better, more efficient future where AI helps us tackle grand challenges, or even just makes our daily lives a little smoother, a little easier. It speaks to our inherent desire for progress and control over our environment.
And the flip side, the unease.
The unease, on the other hand, stems directly from the unknown. From the sheer dizzying speed of change and those very real concerns, we discuss the potential for job displacement, the fear of widespread dissemination of convincing misinformation, the potential for bias baked into the algorithms, and those deeper, almost existential questions about human identity and purpose in an increasingly AI-powered world. It's the fear of losing control, the anxiety about unintended consequences cascading through society, and the profound societal shifts that are already underway, which can feel deeply unsettling and disorienting. This duality isn't about choosing a side, being a techno-optimist or a Luddite. It's about understanding the complex landscape we're now navigating. It's a reflection of our hopes for what humanity can achieve, mixed intrinsically with our anxieties about the challenges that come with wielding such powerful creation. GPT-5 forces us to confront not just what technology can do, but who we, as humans, want to be in its presence.
That's a powerful summation of where we stand with GPT-5. It's clearly a monumental leap, one that comes with both incredible promise and, significant challenges that we as a society are only just beginning to really grapple with. It's truly a conversation we'll be continuing for years, probably decades to come.
Indeed. As GPT-5 continues to evolve and integrate ever more deeply into the fabric of our lives, the real question isn't just what it can do, but what we as humans choose to do with it, and perhaps more importantly, how we choose to adapt alongside it.
A profound thought to leave us with. Thank you so much for unpacking all of that today. Next time on Trending Unpacked, we're shifting from artificial intelligence to Hollywood creativity with filmmaker Zach Kreger. Stay tuned.